Okay, I am a little bit sweaty. I just came back from a walk with the dog. It's beautiful outside here in Texas today. Kind of wish I was still outside, but I got stuff to do. So what are we doing? This is a little bit different. You're trying to figure out probably what the point of this video is. I like doing the videos the way I'm doing them, but what ends up happening is I collect a bunch of little stuff that I want to share with you guys. Updates on other things from other videos. They don't warrant a full video, and I wasn't sure what to do about these things. And I'm gonna try this. I happen to see that YouTube has added this podcast feature. I really can't tell how it's any different than just a playlist, but we're gonna try it out. We're gonna call this the pocket dump. And every once in a while, when I got enough stuff in my pockets, enough stuff floating around that's not gonna fit into videos, we're gonna do one of these. And I'll also tell you some of the stuff's coming up for the channel. Some of the videos I'm talking about or thinking about talking about. I don't know what the hell I'm saying right now. All right. I need to share with you an update on TPT Slide as a neck knife. As you can see, first of all, I have not put the safety plastic on here yet. So I'm still at risk of strangling myself at any moment, but I am still using it around the neck. I find this to be great. But as you can see, the sheath is no longer there. I lost the sheath. I don't know where. I was moving stuff in a garage, I think, at a family member's house. It might have fallen off there. It'll show up one day, maybe. Or somehow it fell off while I was walking, which I doubt, because that would mean that that thing had to fall between my shirt and my skin and me not feel it. And I doubt that. So, either way, I had to find out a solution, and I mentioned it in the video as a possible solution: Ranger Band. And the Ranger Band solution is actually pretty good. It slows you down a little bit. Taking it off is easy, and usually when I take it off, I just slip it over my pinky. It's just getting it back on. It takes about a good 30 seconds to really get it back on. You get better at it over time, but it's a pretty good solution, and to be honest, it's a smaller package, so there's that benefit. So there's an update on that. Another update, remember this pouch? You've seen it probably, I think, in like 3 videos at least by now. This is the Rough Enough? I always want to say Tough Enough. It's a Rough Enough pouch. This is the men's coin purse wallet. This is one of those items that has way too many words on Amazon in the title because they don't actually know what the product name is. They're just trying to throw out as many keywords as possible. Love this little thing. I've mentioned how many times I love it. I finally found a use for this because in the last video I talked about a possible solution. I had a dilemma with my EDC in that I didn't have a pouch that was the right size, that was arranged the way that I wanted, with an outside pocket for quick access items, a way to connect it to something like a carabiner. And this was a near perfect solution. It's just a little bit too small. So I ordered something, and we're going to do a video on that when it comes and I've had the chance to use it. The exciting thing about that, besides the fact that this microphone likes to fall down on its own all the time, the exciting thing about doing a video on that item is that I looked and there's only one video of it on all of YouTube. And it's a product video by the company. This microphone is slipping again. Look. Let's fix that. Let's see if that helps. Nope. Okay, we're just going to deal with the slipping microphone. The pouch is something that's going to, I think it's going to take a couple weeks to get here. I'll probably use it for at least a week before I do the video. And obviously, as I've said, I found a use for this. This means I'm not using this anymore. So what am I using for EDC right now until that pouch comes? I'm actually using this. This is one of the VanQuest. I didn't even write down what the product name was before starting this video. But this is it's essentially a VanQuest packing cube. And they have these in multiple sizes. This is pretty good. I mean, look at, it's about the same size as that, just a little bit wider. Let me get a better shot of that. There you go. Let's line them up. Yeah, it's just a little bit wider. Or if you turn it this way, you could say it's just a little bit taller. It's a nice solution. It's not a permanent solution because as a packing cube, this material is real thin, and I'm worried that taking this in and out of my pocket over and over throughout the day or throwing it in and out of bags. Even though it has ripstop in it, it's not Cordura. Or is it Cordura? No, it's not Cordura. It's just the thin nylon. And I'm sure it's rough because VanQuest made it, but it doesn't compare to like this or to even tougher, or maybe an X-Pac even. So this is a nice solution for now. As you can see, I can connect a carabiner. I put the Night Eyes one with the locking magnet, so I can put that on the pants. It's not going to fall off, and then I can unhook it and magic. I think this is originally made for fishing, but it works really well. The pouch itself works. I'm not gonna. Let me see if I can get in there. Can you get that? Stop focusing on my eyes. Here we go. This little zipper goes all the way around, and it actually, the pack will expand about that much. So if you really needed to stuff something in here, you could open it up. I wouldn't do that on an everyday carry basis, especially if I'm dangling this from a belt loop. The only drawback besides the material on this and the fact that I probably don't want to walk around with bright orange is that it's just one pocket. So let me let you take a look in there. Can you see that well? Things are pretty organized because I've got the cards and the medicine and that stuff in the back against the wall. And then this is making a big difference right here. This is one of the VanQuest MTAC Velcro elastic holders. It's, you know, this is for putting into bags against that have a Velcro wall of some sort. So I'm using this to hold these things together, and that's what keeps this bag organized right now. I still have the problem of, like, I gotta dig for those quarters, but to be honest, I don't use quarters that often. So this is a great solution for now. And the pouch that I have coming is not drastically different in the sense the way it looks is going to be drastically different. The size is a little bit different. It's a little bit bigger than this, but it has an outside pocket, and that's a big deal. But the inside is one big dump space. Actually, I think there's one internal pocket. Anyways, keep an eye out for that video on that. For now, if you're looking for a solution about this size, these are not a bad solution. If you're okay with the orange, because this doesn't come in any other color, if you're not worried about the material, I mean, on the list of things I'm worried about with this, the material is really low. It's just the first thing that came to mind. You got these nice zipper pulls on it. It's well made, and it works really well. And you got a spot to put a couple patches there if you want. This was originally my ouch pouch. This was like my bigger ouch pouch, other than the one that's in my wallet. All that stuff is now in here. That's what I'm using this for. So there's an update on those and teaser for some coming up videos. Another thing I wanted to share, I've got all this stuff in front of me. I'm going to do a video on this soon, which is the Levenger Pocket Briefcase for carrying index cards. Spoiler, I love this thing. We'll do a video on that soon. What else do we have? We have this. This is a new beard oil I've been trying. Everyman Jack Hydrating Beard Oil. Found this at HEB, which is a Texas grocery store for those of you who don't live here. If you live in Texas, you know what it is, because it's like the only grocery store. But it's a great grocery store. They have a lot of quality products, and this so far has been pretty awesome. It's got a nice little sandalwood scent. The only thing I would say that is a little bit of a bummer is that the scent wears out really fast, but I find with beard oil, that's just kind of the way it is. Most beard oils, that smell lasts for like 10 minutes and then it's gone. So in reality, when you're looking at beard oils, I wouldn't worry too much about the smell because it's going to be gone before you leave the house. This one's nice. I had one that I really liked. I think it was Beckman's or Beckwith's, and I really liked that one. It had a nice smell, but it was doing some nice stuff for my beard. And I went to the website when it ran out, and the website was no longer there. So I don't know if they went out of business or they temporarily had a website problem. So I went to the grocery store, and when I was there buying food, and I got some new beard oil. This is working great. I like this dispenser more. This is like sprays it out. It's not an aerosol spray, but it just sprays out, the amount that you would want, about that much. I usually do double pump because I like to get my beard gets particularly dry, especially as it's gotten white and gray. It gets drier a lot faster, so I like to keep it oily, which is impossible because I just did it this morning. It's already feeling a little dry, but that's not because of this beard oil. That's all beard oils. It's just the state of my beard, and give this a shot. What else do we have? Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about these pens. I got these pens. Everybody, when you go look at pen stuff, just looking for a basic, non-expensive plastic pen that you can use. I used to use the Bic, just a clear Bic ballpoint. I kept wanting to say rollerball. I used to use those, but I just never really loved the experience of ballpoint ink. I've always been more partial to rollerball, and when I write on things like this, like index cards, the rollerball quality matters a lot because, like, for example, this pen here, I got a bunch of these pens for free when I bought my desk, and these work great on like normal spiral binders and stuff like that kind of paper. On these index cards, not so good. They skip, and you have to write letters over and over again. It just looks awful. So I decided, I'm like, all right, let me just look around and see what people are talking about. Zebra Sarasa Clip. These get talked about a lot. I've seen them before. Nothing really stood out to me about them. But then I saw this. This is only $5. This came in. I got a 2-pack, and I think it was $5 per pack. So I think I got 10 pens. Here's 2 more that I'm using with this calendar. Also went back to analog calendars. Sidebar. This set is referred to as the vintage color set, and I love it. In fact, even though I'm not partial to 0.5 tip point, I usually like something a little bitter. I usually go for 0.7. I like the colors of these so much that I'm just using them all over. When I was looking online at this set, I saw I was like, yeah, of course I'll use that blue one and I'll use that red one. This is kind of more of I don't know if you can tell, this is more of a maroon, and this is more of a blue-gray. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, the colors names that I use here might not be the color names they use. I don't have all the pens here. The other ones are in the room, but see, this is like more of a plum. It's not really a purple. It's more of a plum. It's got a deeperness to it. But then there's a magenta, and there's that maroon. This is like a navy blue, but then there's like something close to a teal. It's like a darker teal. That one's really nice. This gray one is really cool. And then the 2 pens, when I was looking at the set, I was like, I'll probably never use those 2, which is these ones. This is brown, and this, some might say ochre, but I would say mustard color. These might be my favorite. I just love something of this. They call this, I know that they call this a brown gray, and if you get up close, you can see that there is kind of something different in the brown there. I don't know if it's coming across on the camera. And this color, I love it. It's dark. Let me give you a sample here. Mustard. I'll just put must. You see that? It's just a nice color. It's dark enough that you can still see it, which is the problem with a lot of yellows, which is why I didn't think I'd use it. And then this brown one. Let's take a look at that brown. Yeah, see, it's got a nice deep brownness to it, but it's not like poop color. So I'm digging these pens. I like them. And that clip is actually kind of awesome. As you can see, I'm using it to full effect there. Those are held on by the clips. And that's really convenient. So give these a shot. If you're looking for some pens, give the vintage color a shot because they're unique. And maybe if more people buy them, they will make more of them. Because I think things like that usually tend to be a limited run. Okay, one other thing before we talk about this card I keep showing you, which is videos I'm probably going to make, which I want to tell you guys about before we get out of here. I'm going to do something a little different. I've been keep talking about how I'm going to break out of just the EDC thing, and I definitely will. I think the beard oil is a step in that direction and so forth. There's just, I just want to bring you guys, the whole point of this channel was never really just to focus on EDC. It was to focus on stuff that I dig, that I think you guys might dig, and just show you how I use them in my everyday life. Oh, before we go on to this, remind me, we got to talk about the Supernote. Okay? I'm going to do a review of this. Speaking of breaking out. Unfortunately, I recently went to the doctor, had my blood done. My blood sugar is a little high. I don't have to take medicine yet, but I do need to exercise. I'm on a diet, hence the sweating. I was exercising. I need to get my weight down. In the last year, I've kind of, with moving, your eating habits get a little lazy, a little unhealthy. So I need to fix that. But I need to also monitor my blood because it's high. My blood sugar, that is. This is something I bought at HEB. This was, okay, this, I don't remember how much this part was because this is separate. This is the test strips that are in there. But these two things, the main components, $12. And this thing is awesome. And I'm not going to talk about how it works at measuring blood sugar and the accuracy because what the hell do I know? I just think that the way this thing is designed is ingenious. So I want to talk about this in an upcoming video because I just think it's a cool piece of low technology, or I guess medium technology. You know, you've got an LCD on top that's the equivalent of like a watch from the 1980s. And that's like the most complicated part, except for the part that actually reads the blood. But just the way everything's put together, a lot of companies can learn a lot about putting a product together by looking at something like this. So that's the TrueMetric 60. We're going to take a look at that. I don't know if that's the company name or just the product name. I got to look at the box. Okay, Supernote. So I don't forget. I should have brought water in here. I have the Supernote over there on the shelf. I'm not going to grab it right now. A lot of you guys have had questions about Supernote. That's on my list of videos. I want to try to put all the questions into one video. So when you see this, if you have questions about the Supernote, put them in there. Someone also suggested that my initial review or my initial look at the Supernote focused on how I use it, which everybody seems to appreciate it because it was a little bit different. So as a consequence of that, though, there are things that the Supernote does that I don't cover because I just don't use them. Somebody suggested maybe eventually doing a video just talking about what those features look like. I might do that. But first, we're going to do a video on the questions that you guys have about the Supernote. Ironically, I'm going to tell you something funny. I haven't been using it. Not because there's anything wrong with it. I'm just in a very analog phase right now. I go through these phases. And I've been reading a lot of paper books and taking notes on index cards. And I'm just trying to get centered in a way for this year. I just feel like everything with the move and everything, there was this delayed response of scatteredness. And it all started to catch up with me. So I'm trying to rein everything in and focus everything. Trying to narrow my projects and all of that. So I haven't been using the Supernote just because I'm not in that headspace. But it's not because of anything wrong with the Supernote. I still think it's an amazing device. And I think if you're going to get a tablet for reading and for writing and you really want to focus, I don't think there's anything better out there. And ironically, I've found it's really fun to draw on as well. Is that ironic? That's not ironic. Coincidentally, I found it very fun to draw on. I like the limited palette of only being able to use with black and the white of the background and then like 3 shades of gray and being stuck with the width of the highlighter. All those limitations. It takes so much thought out of just like doing a little doodle or a cartoon like I like to do. So, still recommend the Supernote. Still want your questions. Still going to do a video on it. Just haven't been totally... look, I'm in the physical world right now. So you guys will give me an excuse to dip back into it and look around if you give me those questions. Okay, other things, what do we have left? I've mentioned some of them. Levenger pocket briefcase, check. Supernote, check. Supernote features, check. Pouch, I told you I'm going to do a pouch video coming up whenever that arrives. Odds and ends, we're recording it right now. Hey, we're doing pretty good. This one's an interesting one. I have been taking my EDC mindset and focusing it internally. I don't mean inside myself, getting in touch with myself type thing. I mean inside the house. A lot of times when we think about EDC, we think about outward. We think about going out, having things prepared when we're out of the house. We don't think about our behaviors within the house and having the things that we need for being in the house and doing the things that we do in the house. That was the motivation behind this, is the realization that most of the time I need this, I'm sitting around the house, and if I have this clip to a pouch or something like that, I don't usually have the clip or pouch on me if I'm in the house, especially if I'm wearing lounging clothes. So this gave me the opportunity to have this with me all the time, and this is what got me to start thinking, what are other things that I want with me, and how do I want them with me while I'm within the house? That was a hard sentence to navigate. So one of the things that I had problems with, not huge problems, but just a little bit of friction, was when I want to journal, whether it was with the Supernote or with a paper journal, I would have it in one place because I didn't want to lose it. But most of the time I wanted to journal, I wasn't in that place. So I either had to go to that place and get it or go to that place and use it there. One specific room. A book, if I'm reading a paper book, or if I'm reading on the Supernote as well, same problem, except oftentimes the paper books are in a different place. And then I have a second notebook that I usually like to use, which is a larger kind of 8.5 by 11 moleskin soft cover with blank pages, and I call that my thinking notebook. That's where I do messy stuff that I don't want in my journal. My journal is for writing. It's internal analysis, stuff like that. I've tried to combine the two before, it just doesn't work for me, so I just have two separate notebooks. And the thinking one, I use pencil or basically whatever writing utensil is near me. It's messy. A lot of times it's not even sentences, it's just like words and arrows and circles, and just trying to negotiate the mess of my head into something resembling a map. That would usually be in a place where it wasn't, a lot of times when you want to think, you don't want to have to go, like, let me go to the thinking spot and use the thinking tool. You want those three things that I mentioned, plus pens, and in my case, index cards for taking notes. You want those with you wherever you go. So I have a bag that I love. I love this bag, but I haven't been using it for EDC because it didn't work for me for EDC, but I love this bag and I love the build of the bag. And now I have a reason to use it because it has this wonderful, nice padded handle on it that makes it just grab and go type thing. I took the handles off it even. It's like a little mini medicine bag almost. And I've got the book I'm reading in it. I have the two notebooks in there. I have index cards in there. I have a pen and I have pencil. And when I go into a room, I just take it with me. I go to the next room, I take it with me. If all of a sudden I go, oh, I need to think, the bag's there, I can pull out the thinking notebook. If I want to read, the book is there. If I want to journal, the journal's there. So I'm going to do a video on that bag. I kind of told you how I use it. We'll probably reiterate that a little bit in the video, but I really want you guys to see this bag. It's a work of art. It's just that nice of a bag, I think. I mentioned before, I want to do a video on this watch band. I don't know if that's going to end up being a short or whatever because there's not really a ton to talk about it, but I can't do it here because I need the top down view to do it because I want to be able to show you guys what it looks like. So it might just be a short video. Blood sugar tester, check. Oh, I have this backpack that I've been using for years, and I want to share that with you because I think it's one of the better built backpacks that I've used. And then lastly, oh yeah, I just bought a new harness for the dog. It's awesome. It wasn't super expensive, and it's minimal. It's just, I'm going to do a review on that. We'll branch out a little bit. So that's what we have coming up. I think that's about 10 videos. That should keep us going for a couple months. And that's what's coming up. And then as little things pile up, updates, little changes, anything like that, we'll do more of these. I would also like to open this up for questions, so we can make this kind of a mixed format. I can bring things in. This is just it's a pocket dump. Like I said, it's just opening up all the little odds and ends that are sitting around, and not to say that your questions are odds and ends, but they they fit into this format really well. So if you have questions, we can do that. I don't imagine there are a ton of questions. Usually you guys ask them within the videos, but if there are and you haven't asked them, go ahead. I'm not going to do much on personal stuff. I will get, I don't imagine any of you care about my personal life anyways, but I will answer I'll determine what's too personal. But feel free to ask anything you want. Just no guarantee I'm going to answer it. And we'll bring those into a video as well. Even if I don't have the other stuff piled up enough and there's enough questions, we'll do one of those. I just think doing a little more of these informal things where it's not focused on one product, it helps me clear up some of the stuff that's sitting around. Okay, I've been talking about this too long. I wanted to keep this short. How am I doing? 27 minutes. I guess that's my definition of short. It is technically a podcast, so I guess 5 minutes would have been ridiculous. So let me know what you think. Talk to me, people.